Welcome to Standard Voice News Channel. I am Samira Ibrahim with today's bulletin, but first the major headlines. Air Force loses personnel as troops killed 30 armed bandits in ZAMFARA state. Governor Bello MATAWALLE has been commended for creating the Directorate of Drugs, Narcotics and Human Trafficking in the state. Federal government releases 10 billion naira to support domestic vaccine production. On business, KANO government secures 10 billion naira from CBN to revamp industries. On international scene, WHO director says the world is on the brink of a catastrophic moral failure. And on sports, unlucky Golden Eaglets lose WAFU Under-17 Cup to Cote d'Ivoire. Now the news in details. The Nigerian Air Force has lost personnel as troops killed 30 armed bandits at the Maje River line near Air Katsina under Bungudu local government area of ZAMFARA state. In a statement issued on Monday by the Air Force spokesman Ibikunle Daramola, troops mobilized in response to reports that scores of bandits, along with a large number of rusted livestock, were spotted heading towards Kekuje Air Katsina road. He said the operation involved troops from forward operating bases at Kekuje, Kwatarkwashi and Maru, mostly of Nigerian Air Force Special Forces personnel. Unfortunately, one NAV SF personnel, aircraftman Sunday Nwa, who fought gallantly during the encounter, paid the supreme price, while 3 others who sustained gunshot wounds during the operation have been evacuated for medical treatment. A non-governmental organization, Keeping Girls in School initiative, have been launched in ZAMFARA state. Launching the initiative in Gusau, the national team leader of the initiative, Mrs. Farida Saleh Yusuf, said the setting of the initiative was to encourage girl-child education globally. For more details on the story, over now to our correspondent, Fatima Ibrahim.
Mrs. Farida Saleh noted with concern that there is an estimated of 130 million girls worldwide who are out of school, pointing out that with the coming into being of the initiative, there had been remarkable improvement in the enrollment of girls in primary schools throughout the world.
For decades, African governments and international development partners have been trying to improve the health of women and children and reduce death as a result of pregnancy and childbirth. While improvements have been recorded, the rate is abysmally low and not anywhere near those of other regions of the world. Studies have shown that the health of children substantially improves when the mother is educated. Completion of secondary education by girls, therefore, has been found to significantly improve the health and nutrition of children, improve women's decision-making, as well as ability to earn a living, thereby improving the health and nutrition of families and communities. Our involvement and guidance to our people in this respect will provide the stimulus that is necessary for improvement in maternal and child health and livelihood for African families.
The team leader, however, explained that there is a remarkable drop in the number of adolescent girls who continue their education. She said, while 87% enrolled in primary schools, only 39% graduate in secondary school. That's the report. Fatima Ibrahim reporting for SVTV News.
The Special Advisor for the ZAMFARA State Directorate of Drugs, Narcotics and Human Trafficking, Major Aliyu Muhammad Maradun, has reiterated his determined efforts to eradicate drug addiction and human trafficking in the state. Major Aliyu Muhammad Maradun renewed the pledge on Tuesday when he paid a courtesy call to the management of Standard Voice Television Gusau. The special advisor explained that Governor Bello Matawalle Maradun set up the agency because of his concern to wipe out drug addiction and human trafficking, which are largely the main cause of banditry and other heinous crimes now prevailing in the state and the country at large. Major Ali Muhammad, retired, said the aim of the visit to the Standard Voice Television was to seek for areas of working cooperation with the station for proper enlightenment of the agency's activities.
Abin da kamu nan na farko shine mu zo mu gaishe ku.
We are here to pay a courtesy call in order to introduce the new directorate to the Standard Voice Television to request for your coverage of our activities to enlighten and educate the general public on the dangers of drugs, narcotics, and human trafficking.
Kafa wannan hukuma saboda irin abubuwan da ke faruwa a jiha ta shaye-shayen kwayoyi da safar jama'a, musamman ma irin waɗanda 'yan ɗaukar mutane da kuma masu yi cikin gida da waje har da matan aure. To an ka naɗa wannan aka kafa wannan hukuma kuma ya naɗa ni kan mataimaki mai ba shawara na musamman. Shi yasa muka zo nan mu bayyana kanmu gare ku kuma mu bi da alhorma gare ku cewa ku tallata mu don jama'a su an kafa wannan ma'aikatar.
Receiving the special advisor, the chairman of the Standard Voice Television, Alhaji Ibrahim Busara, pledged the station's commitment to enlighten the people on issues that are affecting their lives.
It is a well-known fact that our state, ZAMFARA, and indeed Northwest, and even the entire Nigeria is today facing a very serious security challenge. The security challenge investigations have revealed that are connected to taking of dangerous drugs and addictions of drugs and narcotics. I believe also that appointing you into this organization as the special advisor is a wise decision by His Excellency, especially considering your wealth of experience as retired military personnel. And I believe you will use your wealth of experience in developing the agency and also bringing benefits to the people of Zamfara State. And I can assure you that the Standard Voice Television is open to your directorate at any given time. You have something to notify the general public or any information to share with the general public. You are welcome once again, and I thank you so much. I wish you safe return back home.
Alhaji Ibrahim Busara commended Governor Bello MATAWALLE for creating the Directorate of Drugs, Narcotics and Human Trafficking, which are the major of banditry and other heinous crimes in the society. National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has intercepted 21.9 kilograms of cocaine at N10BN International Airport Command, Abuja. The illicit substance concealed in 2 suitcases in the largest single seizure by the command. The illicit substance concealed in 2 suitcases is the largest single seizure by the command. The 2 unaccompanied and unclaimed suitcases were discovered after the arrival of Ethiopian airline N10 in Abuja from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. During the onward clearance of the flight, the vigilant officers of the command became suspicious upon noticing that the 2 briefcases were abandoned on the conveyor belt without any one of the passengers claiming them. The NDLEA commander directed the officers to keep an eye on the suitcases and inform the airline and its handlers of NDLEA's interest in the luggage. Meanwhile, the newly appointed chairman, chief executive officer of the agency, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, retired, says the immediate task for him is to overhaul and reposition the agency for better performance. General Marwan stated this on resumption of office on Monday at the NDLEA headquarters in Abuja. Concern over the intensifier of the second wave of COVID-19 pandemic and Nigeria's tardy commencement of inoculation that is sweeping through countries globally, the Nigerian Governors Forum may come up with a definitive pronouncement at the meeting on Wednesday, January 20, 2021, to find a way forward for the country. The meeting, which will be the first this year by the governors, will as usual be virtual in conformity with the COVID-19 protocols. It is the 23rd of the Nigerian Governors Forum teleconference. The meeting commences at 2 p.m. prompt, but governors are expected to start logging on from 1 p.m. The Governors Presidential Task Force Committee, headed by Delta State Governor Dr. W.H.O, which is charged with the responsibility of liaising between the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 and the Governors Forum, will brief the forum on what it needs to know on the vaccines and the way forward. The federal government has released the sum of 10 billion naira to support domestic vaccine production. This is according to the Minister of Health, Dr. Osagi Ehanire. Speaking on Monday at the briefing by the Presidential Task Force, Dr. Ehanire said the federal government is working to develop country's own vaccines. The minister said the government is exploring the option of local production of vaccines in the country and have had discussions with a producer. He, however, noted that while the nation seeks to get its own vaccines, other options are being explored for licensed production in collaboration with recognized institutions. Regarding reports of claims by some persons in Nigeria to have COVID-19 vaccines for sale in the country, Dr. Osagi Ehanire advised all Nigerian citizens to disregard these claims as they are criminals. The Nigerian Association of Proprietors of Private Schools has assured parents and guardians of the safety of their children and wards as school resumed for the second term of the 2020/2021 session in Lagos State. Chairman of Omuwa Odofi chapter of NAPS, Mrs. Ajoki Adeyemi, gave the assurance in an interview with newsmen on Monday in Lagos. She said that the private schools have kept to the COVID-19 prevention protocols and guidelines to guide both the staff and students against contracting the virus. All the measures taken during the first wave are still in place and there is no reason for worries. She said they also engaged the services of government-approved environmental pest control organizations last weekend to fumigate all schools in Amuwo Adofin. The Lagos State Quality Assurance Team always go on random checks to ensure school owners comply and they advise where necessary. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the nomination of Malam Abubakar Nuhu Fikpo as the Acting Director General of the National Directorate of Employment (NDE), pending the appointment of a substantive Director General of the agency. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Malam Garba Shehu, said that President Buhari has formally convened to the Minister of State, Labour and Employment, Festus Keyamo San, his approval of the Acting Director General of the NDE. The President in December relieved the former Director General of the agency of his appointment and directed the Minister to nominate an Acting DG to superintend the agency pending the appointment of a substantive head of the agency. The federal government has warned school authorities to desist from demanding for COVID-19 tests from students as requirements for resumption. The federal government, which gave the warning through the Federal Ministry of Education, specifically said that COVID-19 test is not required for returning students to be readmitted into their schools. These were contained in a statement by the Director of Press and Public Relations, Federal Ministry of Education, Mr. Ben Gong, stressing that only temperature checks should be carried out on students and other persons seeking access into schools. The Governing Council of Federal University, Gashua in Yobe State, has approved the appointment of the Professor Maimuna Waziri as the new Vice-Chancellor of the university. This was the outcome of the 5th Council meeting of the university, which held on Saturday. Professor Maimuna Waziri is a professor of chemistry. She will succeed incumbent Vice-Chancellor Professor Andrew Haruna, whose tenure will end on February 10th. According to information made available to journalists, 48 professors applied for the position, out of which 25 were shortlisted for interaction. 3 candidates made it to the final stage before the council settled on Professor Waziri. While congratulating the new Vice-Chancellor, Pro-Chancellor of the University, Malam Ibrahim Akuyam, called on her to ensure she carries all the staff of the institution along. A high court in Ekiti State has sentenced an Assistant Commissioner of Police, Okupu Aboye, to life imprisonment for buying a stolen vehicle from kidnappers in the state on Monday. ACP Okubu Aboye was sentenced to life imprisonment alongside his mechanic Niyi Afolabi. The court also sentenced 7 others to 5 years imprisonment each without an option of fine for kidnapping. In their testimony, the investigating police officers said the stolen car was tracked to the compound of ACP Akubu, whom on interrogation confessed that he bought the vehicle from his mechanic, who received it from the kidnappers. In his judgment, Justice John Adeyeye found the Assistant Commissioner of Police guilty and sentenced him to life imprisonment accordingly. Let me quickly take you to our business desk for the business update.
Welcome to Business Desk. The KANO Investment and Diaspora Commission, in partnership with the Foreign Commonwealth Development and the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, have secured a 10 billion naira intervention fund from the Central Bank of Nigeria to revive companies impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking at the sensitization meeting on KANO Turnaround Project on Monday, in Kano State, the Director General of KAN Invest and Diaspora, Hajia Hama Ali, said the program, which was designed to revive companies that had been affected by COVID-19 pandemic, would target at least 50 companies. She explained that the CBN initially donated 10 billion naira to the agency for the project take-off, saying that the Empress Bank had agreed to also increase the fund. Hajia Hama Ali added that the agency would interface with the affected industries to collect the needed information and determine ways to support them. And that's all on Standard Voice Business Update. I am Musa Joy Onyoza. Back to the newsroom.
Thank you, Musa Joy. On international scene, World Health Organization Chief Tedros Adhanom on Monday warned rich countries against hogging COVID-19 vaccine doses while the poorest suffers. Mr. Tedros blasted vaccine manufacturers for chasing regulatory approvals in wealthy nations rather than seeking global approval. He said the world is on the brink of a catastrophic moral failure, and the price of this failure will be paid with lives and livelihoods in the world's poorest countries. Countries around the world stepped up their coronavirus vaccine campaigns Monday, with Russia offering jabs to all citizens, while an independent probe found fault with the early response to the pandemic. Both the World Health Organization and Beijing could have acted faster when COVID-19 first surfaced in China a year ago. An independent panel for pandemic preparedness and response concluded in a report. On sports, over to Abu Sufyan Abubakar.
Hello, welcome to Standard Voice Television Sports Room. I'm Abu Sufyan Abubakar, and as usual, I bring the sports updates. The Golden Eaglets of Nigeria on Monday came close to producing a stunning comeback from 3 goals down before losing 2-3 to their Ivorian counterparts in the final of the WAFU Under-17 Cup tournament in Lomé, the capital city of Togo. The impressive Baby Elephants, who had won all their previous 3 games in the tournament, raced to a 1-0 first-half lead and then added 2 more before the 70th minute, leaving the 5-time world champions Nigeria looking miserable and looking out of ways to get back into the game. However, the Golden Eaglets pulled themselves together and scored 2 quick goals late into the second half to earn a respectful result, as both teams proudly picked tickets to the 2021 African Under-17 Nations Cup to be held in Morocco from the 13th to 31st of March. In the third place match fixture between Burkina Faso and Niger Republic, Burkina Faso's baby Etalons were successful after an 11-10 penalty scoreline. The Golden Eaglets contingent is expected back to the country any time from now. And that's all we have on sports today. Back to the newsroom.
Thank you, Sufyan. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. Air Force loses personnel as troops kill 30 armed bandits in Zamfara State. Governor Bello MATAWALLE has been commended for creating the Directorate of Drugs, Narcotics and Human Trafficking in the state. Federal government releases 10 billion naira to support domestic vaccine production. On business, KANO government secures 10 billion naira from CBN to revamp industries. On international scene, WHO director says the world is on the brink of a catastrophic moral failure. And on sports, unlucky Golden Eaglets lose WAFU Under-17 Cup to Cote d'Ivoire. That's the news. On behalf of the production crew, Head of News and Current Affairs Department, Ibrahim Garbatunau, I am Samira Ibrahim, wishing you a pleasant day. Keep watching Standard Voice Television News. Goodbye.